my idea is, how can I create music? How can I create a movement around people that want to do good? And that's what we call that humanitarian. We're creating music that instills humanitarian values, bringing back humanity in a sense. And I think it's going to be important, especially in the age of online and AI. We mustn't forget the humanitarian aspect, that we are humans. We are loved by God, and we need to love each other and care for one another. Welcome to In Tune with Watson Tunez. I'm Watson Tunez, your host and pop rap recording artist. My music is part of the Live Beyond You Service Challenge, a charitable endeavor to promote community service and to help your favorite charity win up to $5,000. Visit livebeyondyou.org for more details. In 2015, I founded Beyond Me Initiative, a nonprofit and social enterprise empowering people to live beyond themselves and embrace a life of service, compassion, and generosity. Let me give you the behind-the-scenes insight into my music and humanitarian journey. My goal is to inspire you not only to live a better life, but to also make a difference and contribute to building a more caring society. Enjoy today's episode and subscribe to Watson Tunez with a Z on YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. So when I studied Lecrae, it's like, his whole mission was like, how can I create music that helps people connect with God and just makes God more glorified in our culture? In major ways he contributed. Number one, collaborate with secular artists. For me, I don't like using the word secular. I just collaborate with artists that don't have the same belief system as you. Why? Because it helps you get into the space where they're at. So that's number one. So being open to collaborate with other artists and not turning them away because of religious beliefs and everything. That's number one. So a lot of artists during his time were only sticking to the circle. Because they did that, it didn't help CHH really expand and get better. Because if we only stick in our little bubble, that's what makes the church so small, is because we always stick with other believers. You have to learn how to impact culture. That's what Jesus did. Hang out with people who aren't always believing in the same thing. So for me, how I use that is that you look, for me, my heart is, how do I create music that helps people want to serve and make a difference in the world? That's it. So as long as people have a desire to do good in the world, then my music is always going to be relevant for them. If they desire to do evil, this music isn't going to help them, right? So that's my thing, is how do I create music that stirs something in people's hearts that helps them want to do more good in the world. Now, why am I not in CHH? I'm not in CHH because my end goal is not trying to help people necessarily connect with God. The goal is just to get people out serving. That's it. And I think the reason that I don't want to do that is I think that as a culture and stuff, I don't want to enforce my own beliefs on people. Actions speak louder than words. So while the gospel has to be preached, I understand there's not always a lot of movement behind the gospel, if that makes sense. So we're in our pulpits, we're at a church, we're in our small groups, we're inside this box. But people will know us by our love for one another. So as long as we stick in our circles and our little Christian bubbles, the world isn't going to know Jesus based off that, but they will know Jesus based off our hearts to serve and going out there making a tangible impact. So my thing is, instead of just writing songs that talk about my love for God, show people love for God, if that makes sense, through your service, through your actions. So I guess that's if I was considered in the CHA space, my heart would be, what are we doing to show people God's love, rather than are we just having fancy bars. So my music, it's not the fact that it's not good, it's not high quality. It's to stir people's hearts to do something about it. And so for me, yeah, the music is the mouthpiece, but then you also need the action part. And I haven't seen that in hip hop, encouraging people to take action. So I think that's where my little space is that the music encourages people to take action. And then I have to set I have to give them the means in order to be able to fulfill the mission. So if I say, look, here's a mission, here's what I want you to do, now I need to create the means to allow people to do it. So for what we did is we created the music, right? The music is beyond me. And it's, you're going to get the whole thing, but we're revolutionizing it. Number one, we're digitalizing everything. We're using AI, right? And we're being innovative in the business, in the commerce space. Is being innovative and trying to say what's next. The next thing is AI. So AI is going to impact everything. Music, fashion, everything. So we have to be one of the first to use AI. The second thing that we have to do is we have to create a means for people to still not only be part of a community on an online space, but a community that is actively doing good in the world. So if we can see how Nelson Mandela, MLK, all of that, how do we take what they did and put it into the online space to allow people to be able to make an impact like that? So for me, it's more socially driven than it is gospel driven. So that's why I'm not in the CHH space, is because mine is more socially driven. And what I mean by socially is I don't mean politically, meaning we're not trying to change any policies, because the policies, you have to change people's hearts before you can go towards the politics and everything. If people's hearts aren't changed, the politics and the policies aren't going to really mean anything. So the only way to really change somebody's heart, in my opinion, is to show them a better way. So with the artists in the space, we're trying to create a way that we can still make music that is positive, that is enriching people's lives, but it doesn't have the cussing, it doesn't have the swearing, all the negative stuff. We don't have to promote that. We've already seen that. So that's not new. We don't need to necessarily be preachy at them. None of my songs are that preachy. There's no gospel or whatever, but it is trying to share stories of people. But most importantly, it's trying to get people involved. Now, in the commerce area, if we could get people to buy the album, if there's a way to partner with corporations that will back up that album sale, and then we can pour that for those funds to helping with social initiatives, that are ran by legitimate nonprofit organizations. That's incredible. These are things that I haven't seen the hip hop space do it. But if I could be one of the first artists to do it, and then I can get a tribe of people to see, oh, this actually works. Let me jump in and see what I can do. And then we can collaborate and start creating something. I think that's what Reach really did, is they saw a little space. There were some artists that were trying to do it. And then they're like, hey, let me get into this space, and then let's expand it. Let's create a bigger platform for everybody. So for us, it's like, let's create a bigger platform so that more people can do good and have the means to do it. And let's make the music be the mouthpiece of the movement. What's difficult about what we're trying to do is that it hasn't been done before. So the reason it hasn't been done before, so what we're having to do is we're having to study models that have worked. Like CHH is a prime example of what I use, because it still has a good positive message. It's religious based and church based, but for us, ours is charitable based, and our leaders and the people we follow are, the MLKs, the Nelson Mandelas, the Mother Teresa's, those that have made a tremendous amount of contribution from a social perspective. We follow them and we try to see what they do, and then how we rally people together to just go out and serve. There's already people that want to do good in the world. Can we create music that helps more people want to do good? And then can we create the means that allows them to be able to do the good that they need to? And then can we sustain this by having ways for them to support the initiative and help us expand it? Those are the challenges that we're facing and what we do it. And can we still be relevant? Can we use AI to do it? Can we use fashion to do it? But be innovative in these spaces to be able to help more and more creatives get into this idea that, oh, I can create art for social good. And rather than just creating art just for the pure entertainment, maybe just the message aspect, can we actually create art that helps people make a difference and gives them 3 easy steps that they can follow and be part of something that's bigger than themselves? So we don't know what to call this. We just called it Beyond Me because it was the aspect, number one, is too big for me. Even though I'm starting from my basement, it's like it's too big for me. So I called it Beyond Me, and it's that aspect that already shows people what you're doing. You're being part of something that's completely legit, but it's also completely more than just music, more than just fashion and everything. But you're impacting culture by stirring something in people's hearts to serve, and then you're just making it easy for people to go out and serve, and you're already plugged into systems that are already working. You're not needing to reinvent the wheel. The system is already there. It's just helping people realize that it's there. One way I realized this was when, from community group, gathering this group of people with the friendships are already there. I don't know why they're not cultivating those friendships. They're already there. It's just making a platform that allows people to come together. Unfortunately, we had some disagreements within the community group. So that's what happens too, is making, one of the things I have to do is I have to make not a doctrine, but some form of this is define it. And again, it hurts a little bit to do that. It hurts because you're having to be specific, but the purpose of doing that is to be able to be very clear about what is, what are we trying to do and what we are not trying to do, making it clear so that people understand, so that the next generation can kind of just walk into the doctrine and keep going. But so I guess we'll see. That's kind of my story. Like, my story is I'm a kid from Haiti and I got adopted by missionaries. So right away, mine wasn't driven by religion as much, although our belief system in Christ, what he did on the cross, everything, that Christian faith is still there. But my life was impacted by what somebody did more than just their beliefs, if that makes sense. So you could call, the reason we talk about social is because it's about taking action on our faith. Faith without works is dead, right? So we got to take action. I believe if the churches served more and did more, and really tried to impact culture to just serving, helping those who are in need, and to the point where it's like you shame people that want to do evil. To the point, it's like, how can you do evil, man, when you are seeing that the orphans are being helped, the widows are being helped, homelessness is down, crime is down. How can you want to do evil when there's so much good that can be done in the world? How can you do evil? So you want to just stir in people's hearts to help them see the goodness of doing good. Because I believe people are inherently good. And I know people, like in the church, we're all like, no, we all have a sinful nature and everything. But I don't see how it works, because yes, we are given the option that we can do good and evil, right? Based on Genesis. However, God himself is inherently good, and he's the creator of everything. So how do we get this sense of sinfulness, any evil in our hearts, without, we have our own desires, we're carried off by our own lust and our own desires, but at the same time, God is good and he's the ultimate creator. So I believe people want to inherently do good in the world. It makes us feel good when we do good, right? do good, feel good, that kind of thing. And that's good. That's how it's supposed to be. So my idea is, how can I create music? How can I create a movement around people that want to do good? And that's what we call that humanitarian. We're creating music that instills humanitarian values, bringing back humanity in a sense. And I think it's going to be important, especially in the age of online and AI. We mustn't forget the humanitarian aspect, that we are humans. We are loved by God, and we need to love each other and care for one another. Like, that's not ever going to go away. As long as you have humans, let's not forget her humanity. That's what I'm trying to say. Remind people of that we are humanity. So yes, in my videos, I use a lot of B footage, and I use a lot of people doing different things. Is why the highlight is on humans, the human experience, and just helping people connect back to their humanity and their love for other people. I think once we help people realize, man, I love you because you're another human being. You matter. You have dignity already because you're another human being. That makes a big difference. So anything I can do with the music to help people connect back to their human experience is going to be extremely, extremely powerful.
In Tune with Watson Tunez is brought to you by the Live Beyond You Service Challenge. Visit livebeyondyou.org to join the service challenge and help your favorite charity win up to $5,000. Come be part of an initiative to raise $1 million to give away to charities that are contributing to making the world a better place and bringing healing and restoration into your local community.